Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. So some pretty interesting news from the Guardian news outlet. They were able to obtain hacked and leaked documents showing a surge in threats that were made against lawmakers and public facilities, and a very specific threat to blow up the Capitol building following the January 6th terrorist attack at the Capitol. These documents detail how the authorities increased surveillance after January 6th, with police actively monitoring social media, which we kind of expected, but also hotel reservations and other protests throughout the country. And they began working with businesses, including hotels and Uber and Lyft, to try to identify suspicious activity or people who might be carrying a weapon or be in possession of a weapon. And this is what pisses me off about the rhetoric and complaints coming from not just those on the right, not just your trash Marjorie Taylor Greens who go make a video because they have nothing better to do in DC to bitch and complain about the fence, but also from some on the progressive left, some of whom I like and follow, but they complained and bitched about the fencing and the National Guard too, without knowing what was going on behind the scenes. So here's the deal. The leaked information included intelligence that had been gathered about the far-right militia group called the Boogaloo Boys. These are anti-government, far-right militia members. And these are the guys who run around with guns. They wear Hawaiian shirts. I mean, just such a stupid freaking name and choice of attire. But anyway, so the Boogaloo groups were apparently planning to attack various targets in the Capitol. That was one threat. Another group that was being closely monitored, or may still be, is called Patriot Action for America. Following the Capitol attack, this group put out a call for people to join them in, quote, storming state, local, and federal government courthouses and administrative buildings in the event POTUS is removed as president prior to Inauguration Day. So that was another threat. And these leaked documents confirm something that I warned about when others on the left were cheering the shutdown of Parler and the removal of right-wingers from social media like Facebook and Twitter. The authorities said in these bulletins that were leaked, quote, with the shutdown of Parler, it has been a challenge to track down how activities are being planned. This is exactly what I said was going to happen. When you deplatform people like this, or when you shut down their own sites like Parler, they're forced underground, or they start using other means of communication, and law enforcement may not have had a chance to infiltrate that particular method of communication yet, or there may be no way to do so. The leaked documents also reveal something pretty stunning about the pipe bombs that were left outside the DNC and RNC. They've potentially discovered a second suspect. The authorities say that another person was, quote, observed on video scouting/taking photographs in advance of the placement. And they say that this person, quote, took a metro to the East Falls Church stop and took a lift from there. So this person should be pretty easy to track down since there's going to be a paper trail from the payment to the Lyft driver. There was also a January 12th bulletin issued that stated that a Supreme Court agent noticed, quote, two vehicles stopped beside each other outside the court building. One older white male was allegedly videotaping the Capitol fence and the court, and the passenger in the other vehicle was, quote, hanging out the window in order to videotape the court. These leaked documents also confirm some arrests. There was an arrest on January 22nd, according to one bulletin. A man was arrested by Pennsylvania State Police after, quote, transmitting interstate threats to multiple U.S. senators of the Democratic Party. He said he was, quote, going to DC to kill people and wanted to be killed by the police. He was arrested with a rifle, 2 handguns, and what was described as a large quantity of ammunition. Another man was arrested after asking for directions to the Oval Office, not the White House, the Oval Office. And officers discovered that he had an illegal firearm with him after searching his car. Seriously, you're trying to get to the Oval Office to kill Biden, and you stop and ask for directions. The one time a man actually breaks down and asks for directions, and it's this? Has he never heard of Google Maps or Waze? I mean, thank God some of these terrorists are morons, like their Orange Deer leader who's still hiding his school records. Oh, God. But back to the document. So another man, it didn't say he was arrested, but they said his van was searched because he was observed sitting outside of the home of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor. And Metropolitan Police were also said to be working with Capitol Police to investigate, quote, a number of threats aimed at members of Congress as the Senate impeachment trial of Donald Trump nears. And as I mentioned earlier, nearly 1 month after the January 6th attack, a militia group based in Texas was said to be plotting the bombing of the Capitol. Now, they didn't specifically name this group in the official bulletin, but it sure sounds as though they're referring to the Oath Keepers, because the group is described as, quote, a large organization allegedly with members from every state, which include individuals who were former military and law enforcement. So I don't think it would be the 3%ers, because I don't think that their organization is as large as the Oath Keepers, at least from what I've heard. And I know that the Oath Keepers go out of their way to recruit members, former members of military and law enforcement. So this militia group allegedly said that if their, quote, operation failed at the U.S. Capitol, they had a, quote, backup plan involving detonating bombs at the U.S. Capitol during the State of the Union. So kind of hard for them to now say, oh, it wasn't a planned attack. This wasn't something that we planned in advance. There was no conspiracy, when they're literally putting it in writing that if their operation fails at the U.S. Capitol, they're going to go to a plan B. Yeah, kind of sounds like a plan. Kind of sounds like they had a plan. So I don't mean to laugh. This is very serious, but these people are just ridiculous with the way they try to lie to cover up their previous lies. So these threats were very real, and they continued for long after January 6th and after the arrests began. I just hope that they don't let these Capitol insurrectionists off with a slap on the wrist, and even the ones who weren't violent, because a very clear and strong message needs to be sent to prevent more violence and more domestic terrorism. And someone knows who set those bombs. And the one thing we know for sure is that these guys suffer from SDS. It's a horrible affliction. One of the side effects of small dick syndrome is that your mouth grows bigger and bigger. That's my understanding. That's what I've seen, I've witnessed. It seems to start in the early 20s, and then it appears to peak, I think, in the late 20s and maybe last throughout the 30s. And those who are afflicted, they just can't help but to brag. They just can't help but to beat their chest and talk about the stupid shit they do. So eventually someone somewhere is going to give this person up. It's just a matter of time, because they're going to talk and they're going to increase the reward for information. So TikTok, little prick. All right, guys, I'll keep you posted. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care, and I'll talk with you soon.